Bitcoin continues to surge, leaving every other asset in the dust as it powers forward. Something that everyone seems to be wondering lately, though, is how much is it worth? Is it overvalued? In this video, we're going to take a shot at answering that while trying to avoid becoming the laughing stock of the internet while doing so. Let's get into it. Hello my fellow YouTubers and welcome to PapayaCast, the channel where you get the information you need today to prepare for the economy of tomorrow. Since our inflation outlook video just last week, Bitcoin has gone from $27,000 per coin to nearly $35,000 again, and back down to around $30,000 per coin. By the time I get this video uploaded and published, maybe it has surged past $40,000 a coin. Who knows? But despite the extreme volatility, the upward trend over the last few months is clear. And this has many people wondering, how much is it really worth? Are we just seeing an extreme bubble? Trying to estimate a fair market value for Bitcoin is nearly impossible. There just isn't enough publicly available transaction data to base one off of. For things like the US dollar, there is just so much more price data to look at. We can look at how much a car costs in dollars today and 5 years ago or 20 years ago. The same for a sack of wheat or a pair of shoes or a house. We can do things like adjust for inflation or seasonal trends. There's just so much data on goods and services priced in dollars that we really have a lot to work with. Now, the same is not true for Bitcoin. It is the new kid on the block. And while we have data on the price of Bitcoin in dollars, until we start seeing more transactions for goods and services that are priced directly in Bitcoin, we can't say what a thing like a car should be worth in Bitcoin. But what we can do is try to get a sense of whether or not it's overvalued in dollars, and from that we might be able to get a sense of the price where it would look really overvalued.
Hey, if you like what you're seeing so far, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If we get enough subscribers, we can start seeing some watermelons around here, because who likes papayas? Alright, let's get back to the video.
Before we get into this, I do have to make a disclaimer, given that we're delving into a pretty hot topic here with a lot of financial implications for many people. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is not financial advice, and you are responsible for your own investment and currency purchasing decisions. Now that we have that out of the way, let's continue. One thing that economists or other number crunchers do when trying to assess this type of thing is to look at past performance and compare it to current trends. If we do this for Bitcoin, we see that the previous all-time closing high was $19,497 on December 16th, 2017. Clearly, we have already blown way past that, with Bitcoin closing at nearly $34,000 as of January 5th, 2021. That's a 74% increase over the previous peak. Now, by this chart alone, you would be justified in questioning the valuation. What we really need is a way to benchmark it against something to have some sort of basis of comparison. The closest thing we have is gold. Bitcoin performs many of the same functions that gold has over the millennia. It has a limited supply. You can't create more of it just for the sake of monetary or fiscal stimulus, and it is becoming much more viable as something that everyone agrees has some value. Let's take another look at our Bitcoin data, and this time we're going to denominate Bitcoin in terms of ounces of gold. And we can get this simply by dividing the price of Bitcoin in dollars by the price of an ounce of gold in dollars. Now we have an idea of how much Bitcoin is valued in gold. We begin to see a different picture taking shape, and it doesn't look quite as extreme as the graph with Bitcoin denominated in dollars. The previous peak back in 2017 would have been worth 15.14 ounces of gold. The price of Bitcoin in gold as of January 5th, 2021 would have been worth 17.41 ounces of gold, which is just 15% above that previous peak, significantly lower than the 75% increase over the previous peak for Bitcoin denominated in dollars. So, what have we learned here? First, it's very difficult to get an accurate valuation for Bitcoin given the lack of transaction history we have in Bitcoin denominated goods and services. As time goes by, we will get more of that. Second, looking at the graph of Bitcoin in dollars alone and applying some very crude chart analysis certainly leaves us thinking Bitcoin could be overvalued. However, in our final point, we showed that it might not be as overvalued as some people think it is when you evaluate the trends in something besides dollars. Now, just for the sake of speculation, how much would Bitcoin have to be priced in dollars to be 75% higher than the previous peak when it is valued in gold? Assuming the price of gold stayed at its closing price of $1,952 from January 5th, 2021, Bitcoin would have to rise to $51,441. Then our Bitcoin priced in gold graph would look like our current graph of Bitcoin priced in dollars. One thing I've always wondered about when it comes to the robustness of digital currency, however, is what happens if you don't have any electricity? We're going to continue our research into Bitcoin valuation and share with you our findings in future videos as we move along in that project. If you want to get notified immediately of our findings when they are published, you can subscribe to this channel down below and hit the notification bell, which will let you know right away when we publish our next video. If you found this episode useful, please give it a thumbs up and let us know in the comment section below how it has helped you and what you would like to see more of. If you didn't find it useful, go ahead and give it a thumbs down and let us know in the comment section below that Bitcoin is impervious to a slowdown in the flow of electrons and that a power outage would only affect physical gold. Either way, I'll see you in the next video.